Hey everybody, I just wanted to apologize for the podcast taking a little bit of a hiatus. Things have been kind of slow yet busy, and I've not had a lot of positive vibes to bring to the air and to you all. But I did have an opportunity to travel to Pittsburgh and do the Detroit convention. I also spent some time out in Dayton, Ohio, visiting some friends, and on that trip, I managed to score 2 podcasts. I'm going to show the second one before the first one because I think it's more relevant to what's going to be happening next week, which I'm going to get into. But the first podcast I'm going to air right now is with Mr. James Vaughn from North Carolina. And we had the opportunity to sit with James because he's going to be with us at the Tat Hoown next weekend in Lenoir, North Carolina, March 29th and 30th. That is a Sunday and a Monday. It's being held at a friend's joint called the Harper House. Chris Hollyfeld is the owner and operator of that space. He also holds the Carolina Tattoo Arts Gathering at said space in September, which we will be attending this year. But being as how I had the opportunity to be around Jonathan and Jimmy, both of which I work with to put on the Tat Hoown, first one being in Dayton, Ohio this past August, and again this next August for the third installment of said event. But being as how we were all together with James, I took the advantage to speak with James because he will be doing the hoedown with us as well. So I really hope you enjoy this installment. Keep an ear out for the next one, which should air the following week as well. It's a special guest that I hadn't seen in probably close to 18 to 20 years, in all honesty. So I'm pretty excited about that one. But this one with James was real special. James is he's a truly unique individual, and I hope you guys enjoy watching the shenanigans as much as we enjoyed filming it. So until I see you again, enjoy and like and subscribe. Take care.
But first is just don't be the last one.
What'd you say?
In the gangbang.
Always be first in the gangbang. And on that note, so welcome to another fucking nightmare. Gorilla fucking camera fucking sound. Everything just is a pain in my ass.
We only got one light on.
Episode of Not for Nothing. Exactly. I am in Dayton, Ohio. And I am here visiting a handful of friends. And
Old ass friends.
Exactly. Old ass friends. Here's everybody here. And the main reason we're here for 2 reasons. One, because we are here with a friend, James Vaughn.
Oh.
From North Carolina. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Just interview.
Interview yourself.
Oh my God. Exactly.
Interview yourself.
James!
What kind of ass you like?
James,
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, everybody. I'm James Vaughn. I'm from North Carolina. Originally from Columbus, Ohio. I'm an Ohio boy.
I didn't fucking know that.
Yeah.
You really?
I'm one of the OG Ohio
Back
boys.
when he was before he was an apprentice at
Old
Stain
Stain
Skin.
Skin.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I didn't.
I
Oh
worked at
my
Stain-
God.
I worked at Stain Skin with Hoffa.
He worked with Hoffa, yeah.
Hoffa was the front person. He
Hoffa
wasn't
was
even
a
an
counter guy
apprentice
when he
yet.
was apprenticing.
Wait. So
You don't know this?
No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
apprentice there.
Where are you? So you're from?
Well, I thought you were the apprentice at Stain Skin.
No. I was just an artist there. I left Fun City in case.
Were they fucking with me then?
No. Hoffa was the apprentice.
I thought he was still working counter when I think the first time
He
I walked in
was.
there, they were telling me that I thought they said that you were one of
I
they weren't
apprenticed in
fucking- okay,
1990.
yeah.
I was at Stain Skin in 97.
Okay, I had no idea about. So, like I said, I honestly had no idea that. So, where did you actually? Where were you born, or where'd you grow up?
I was born in Columbus, Ohio. I was born at Riverside Hospital, and I moved to North Carolina when I was in grade school.
Yeah,
Okay.
never fucking grew up.
Yeah, you never grew up. No. Why would you want to grow up? But I started. I joined the Army, and I started apprenticing at Skin Graphics and More with Brian Wallace, which is Byron Wallace's brother. We're, that's a, basically, national, all national artists, and it kind of just came up through that era. And, I learned, going up to a biker shop was brutal in the 90s. It was
Yeah.
Well, there really wasn't much different styles of shops back then.
No.
No,
you
no.
had the traditional flash shops.
Yeah, you go
and
into a
then,
shop,
like, biker
you're gonna
shops.
kick your ass
Yeah.
if you. I want.
I mean, even then, like, it wasn't. There might not have been bikers in there, but it almost kind of still had that same.
Yeah, they were still sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was sketchy as fuck.
Yeah.
You got to come in and get,
I miss the old
Trade
tattoo
guns
shops where
and
you got to
shit.
ring the bell and they come to the door and they're like, "What?"
No, that was Fun City when I worked at Fun City. It was there before tattooing was legal in New York. So like
Yeah.
you had to call from the payphone across the street.
See, it's fun. I remember hearing stories about that. That was the day and age of pagers too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
where you would go across the street
yeah.
and you'd call up the
Page the
call
phone,
up the
yeah.
thing, and then they would be like, okay, we'll be down to pick you up. Or did they give them address, or did they actually have to come pick them up? Do you remember?
Everybody knew it was across the fucking street. It was just come to,
Well, I would imagine once you've been there once.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you know where you're going.
it was wide open. And even back then we at Fun City we tattooed all the cops on the beat anyway. So like they knew what we were doing. They didn't give a shit.
What year was that? Because so it didn't get legalized in New York until like late 90s. So
Oh yeah, it was like
So what
it
year
was.
was
I was
that?
there 95, 96.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
like Garver had just left and went to New York Horn.
Yeah.
So
So that was after it legalized.
Yeah. Well, no, it was right at the transition. I mean,
Okay.
when there was fucking tattoo shops and the hat stands on because it was on St. Mark Street. So that was
How far are you from Jonathan Shaw's place?
What's that?
How far are you from Jonathan Shaw
What do you mean?
in New York?
No, I was at
Oh,
John.
you
I
which
worked
side?
at Fun City. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fun City was crazy. I got stories about Fun City.
I got
insane.
stories.
I got fun stories about
I got
Fun City.
stories.
Man, I slept like literally. It was one of those when you're a grinder. Because I worked for like 30%. I fucking 40%, but I had to tattoo. I had to tip the front person 10%.
You were working at 30% at Fun City?
Yeah.
Everybody started
Holy
at 30%.
no.
Yeah.
Definitely
Well,
not.
it was
No.
40, but you
Well,
had
sorry,
to
Joe. Not everyone had the same apprenticeship like you had.
No, dude. Even for New York, like 50% was the standard right out of the gate.
When I started in
Dude, I'm
92,
talking. This is 93.
Yeah, 92 when I
was
started.
Yeah, but
I started out at 35% was my percentage that I got. That was what I did, and it wasn't until like Chuck told me I think I had a tattoo. I think it was like 2 years before I got to 50%.
And I owned a shop in North Carolina. I mean, Dave Cruzman was my apprentice then, and all my guys were working at the shop, and I was like, I'm gonna go fucking work at Fun City. Fuck it, I was like, I made it, because Jonathan was, it was like the fucking, he was the man at the time. He was the editor of fucking International Tattoo, like
Right.
so, like to have the prestigious. I worked at fucking Fun City. I was like, I'll go work for 30%. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I was like, I just want the experience of fucking working in New York and fucking just expanding. I learned. I got to meet so many fucking amazing people.
So how old were you when you made that move? Like, and what was the intention to really just to get to New York? I mean, that's
No.
What was it?
It was just to get notoriety, and because that's so hard, like the mid '90s was so hard to even become anybody. And when you take your portfolio and you fucking just wander around and they were like, "Do you want a job?" I'm like, "Did Fun City just ask me if I want a goddamn job?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" I thought I made something of myself, but I dropped everything. I moved to New York, and I lived with. I had a client that worked in the towers, and she, her and her husband, he worked at Bleecker Bob's. He was a fucking he was a skinhead fucking drummer. You know, he worked in he was in a skinhead band. Fucking, you know, and I'm part of the hardcore scene, and punk rock was part of my whole life. I was friends with Rabies and fucking from Warzone and fucking all the guys. You know, New York hardcore scene was big at that point.
That was huge.
It was
yeah.
huge,
Oh, yeah.
huge. So I was like, I'm at my element. You know, I'm going to CBGBs all the time, and you're just having a blast. You know, it's like I'm living a fucking tattoo fucking dream here. You know, I'm working at the most world famous, you know, fun city, and I'm fucking going to fucking CBGBs all the time, and fucking meeting Johnny Depp and fucking Iggy Pop all the time. I mean, Fun City was fucking crazy. You know,
I'll be honest. So how old are you at this point?
At that point, I'm 50. I'll be 53 this year. So like, I was 97. So like 96. You know, 95, 96. So. Fuck, I can't do math.
He's not just draw shit.
Oh my god. Well, no, like I
was
said,
in my 20s. You know, it was like, you know, mid 20s. So,
right.
You know, it was like, you know, I was like, I'm on a high horse type thing.
Before you left Ohio to go to New York, and you had a shop, how long was that shop open, and how did that come about?
I opened my first shop in '92, and I was open and basically
you started your apprenticeship in '90, right?
'90, yeah.
Yeah. So after, how long was your apprenticeship for?
It was like 2 years.
So 2 years. So as soon as you finished your apprenticeship, you left to open the shop.
Yep.
Was that like on a good term thing, or was that like intentional, or?
That was a biker shop, and I showed up to go to work and it was closed.
It made the choice for me.
Yeah. And all my shit, you know, so like, I literally had to, you know, like contact him, like, hey, you know, where's all my shit, you know, like, you know, I worked so hard for this, that, and the other, you know, but you know, that was a trying time, you know, it was, you know, feast and famine at that point also, and to be honest, you know, it was, I guess, I mean, I'm proud that my apprenticeship went that way, because it's like I learned so fucking much, you know, about, I made more freaking needles than I fucking know what to do with, but
yeah.
and I learned how to make machines. I wasn't allowed to touch a machine for a year. Like, it was one of those where you're like, you're not worthy to touch that thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like a no bullshit.
Yeah, I think
so
that,
it was like
that thing too is like, you know, not to cut you off, but so when you have those kind of like apprenticeships and stuff, like we've all talked about, really harsh, you know, listen to, you know, new kids want to fucking, but
no,
I appreciate having such, you know, it wasn't like we were hazed. There was, I mean, we were fucking, like, we were looked after for sure. But I mean, there was a lot. There was a thing called sense of humor back then, where you got your balls busted every day, you know, and you had to really have tough skin. And it wasn't like they were like being. I mean, we did some fucked up shit, but there was a sense of like, it was like kind of that Karate Kid thing where it was like, I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this, and like, well, it'll make sense later. And a lot of it, and everything did.
Exactly.
But with your apprenticeship that you had back then, with that kind of like. I can't even say it's hard, but I mean that was like a proper.
It was no nonsense.
A technical today's standards of an older style apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's more valuable then, like, or it's held more value now as opposed to what people are going through?
I think it is. Well, even with my apprentice, you know, I one time I made one of my apprentices. I was like, hey, do one watercolor painting a day for an entire year, and then I'll make my decision if I want a fucking apprenticeship.
Oh, so this is even before you took a. So how did so to that point? How did that person? How did you meet that person? Did they come up to you? Did you?
Oh, it was all, you know. Basically, you know how it goes in the shop. You know, everybody has their hangarounds. You know, they have their, hey man, you know, I'm like, just calm down. You know,
You tattooed my hanger around today.
you want to fucking take some trash out, you know? But, yeah, you want to sweep the sidewalk, you know, pick up some cigarette butts, you know? Because I used to have, at my shop, we had a lot of skater kids, you know? We had a lot of hang-arounds, you know? And we would skate out in front of the shop. And we had a grind rail out in front of the shop. So like we'd be skating all, you know, ain't nothing to do. We were there skating on the damn sidewalk in front of the church, you know. And so it's like, you know, and we had like little D, fucking amazing kid. You know, he's an amazing tattooer now. But like, hey, like I knew him when he was 12 years old. Like his mother came to the shop and was like, I really appreciate you guys keeping him out of trouble. You know, it was like, cause he was like sticking fucking straws in his fucking ears and, you know, like all this craziness. Like, and like, she was like, I really appreciate you keeping him like off the streets. You know, he would come to the shop and we would, you know, treat him like shit, you know, but we make him fucking take the trash out. You know, it was awesome.
Well, if you think about it though, from that day and age when, you know, so it wasn't bad boy biker shit.
No,
you know
no.
I mean, that existed.
I evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I evolved from the whole. You know, I knew the biker crap. I mean, that's not me. I knew that style of teaching was never going to work for, you know, for advancing, you know, into the future, because it's like everybody started getting a little more lax, and you know, the difference in then and now.
Right.
You know, you saw the evolution happening where, you know, it's like. That style of teaching is not going to work, you know. And so even when I apprenticed Dave Cruzman, like, you know, I had him making needles. I mean, making, you know, building machines. Like when he came to me to learn, he was tattooing out of his house with a guitar string, and I was like, hey, bring him to my shop. I'll give him a machine. You know, I'll show me what you can do.
So who did you talk to get him to come to you?
His friends that he were tattooing.
Yeah,
he was tattooing his friends. They were all skater friends, you know. And they would come. They would just bring him in and be like, "Oh," I was like, "Who did that?" And he was like, "Oh, my friend Dave." I was like, "Man, that's fucking, you know, just fucking clean line work. You know, you can do clean line work with a guitar string. Fucking bring your ass. I'll see what you got. You know." And I was like, "I'll give him a chance." I was like, bring him over. And I was like, I mean, he was telling me stories that he was boiling fucking needles on the stove and alcohol. I'm like, you're about to blow the house up, motherfucker.
At least he had the.
wherewithal. At least he was trying, you know.
Exactly.
So I was like, dude, I gotta find, you know, bring this guy to me. You know, I was like, dude, I'll give you the shot of your lifetime. Come on, fucking, I'll teach you how to tattoo, you know, the right way. I had a damn coastal swing gate. I had like a whole brass monkey.
Dude,
we called it a brass monkey.
That was the coastal swing gate was the first two machines I had on, a liner or shader. Coastal swing gate, tremendous machine.
Called it the brass monkey. I was like, here's the brass monkey. Steel tubes and fucking, like, you know.
Yeah, it's a brick. It's
literally weighs 20 fucking pounds.
Literally a brick in your fucking hand.
So
straight
I
up,
was like, here.
Straight up.
I was like, I'll set it all up. I was like, I'll show you fucking a little bit, you know, and go at it. Bring your friend over here, fucking do it. I was like, all right, let's go. You want to learn how to tattoo? Fucking,
here we go.
Come in every day.
So let me ask you a question. The whole idea of drawing on the skin, doing everything everything starting drawing on the skin. Was that a North Carolina thing, a New York thing? Is it just something you gravitated to in general, or?
I gravitated towards it because, like, you know, I mainly, all right, my thought process, like, you know, the 90s was really hard to even get any recognition as a tattooer, you know, in magazines and stuff like that. So I started.
See, I would disagree. I think that the 90s were almost an easier time, only because all you had to do was, and every kid out there that's on fucking Instagram right now is just like, that I hate on, is just going to be like, fuck you, dick. But the idea that, I think that back then the idea was getting enough stuff in the magazines could really change your entire career.
Well, true. But the thing was, and this is my mind fuck, was that every fucking, because that's the only reason why I started doing conventions, because I was like, I'll take all my clients and make them go to, get pictures done with, whatever photographer was there, find the tattoo magazine, go get that.
And that was a legit thing.
Right. So what happened was I started winning awards and like every fucking magazine my tattoos were in, they would get my damn name wrong. Like, I was Vance, I was Janice, I was Vocket, I was Vaught, I was Janice Vaught. I was like, no one ever got my fucking name right. So I was like, what the fuck do I gotta do to get to make it in this goddamn business? And literally, like, I said, hey, my thought process was, I want to do a fucking bodysuit on a male and a female. I found 2 clients. I'm like, check it out. I was like, you let me do what the fuck I want to do. I'll tattoo you for $200 a session, and I can tattoo you for fucking 6 hours, or I can tattoo you for an hour. I was like, but I get to do exactly what the fuck I want to do, and fucking build my fucking portfolio and build my career off of you. And the thing was, if there was a convention close to us, you got to go and enter.
That makes sense, because I mean, I talked about this recently with a couple of people. We talked about Paul Booth, and the fact that he had Barbara back in the day, and not for nothing, tattooing this little goth chick, this little death metal chick,
exactly,
and then
we all knew Barbara,
doing a full back piece on her and getting her to go to every single show where she was not afraid to get fucking naked and show off what he did on her. That was such a fucking leg up for his career. So it does make sense. And back then, you could go to a show, get fucking photographed from every single magazine, and that was literally, you were going to get everywhere. In 3 months, you were going to be in every fucking magazine, and everybody at that point, they were going to know your name.
Yeah, if you won an award for that fucking piece that's in the magazine, it's bang, there it is.
Exactly.
Could have been terrible. By today's standards. Today's standards are like, oh damn, that was rough.
Back then, I mean, even having a little picture from a convention, one of your people, something like this big, you're like, fucking made it.
Dude, the fact that you got into a magazine.
Yeah, at all. Yeah. I remember the first time I saw one of my things in a magazine, and I was like, wanted to frame it, and it was a picture like this big.
Well, going back to before we got off of that. So you went from Ohio to New York.
No, I started tattooing started in North Carolina.
Okay, so tattooing started in North Carolina.
In North Carolina, yeah, because that's I was just born in Ohio, but when I went from North Carolina to which I worked at Zeke Owen's shop in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Dude, fuck, not for nothing. That's fucking.
Fuck, I worked with Zeke Owen twice. Zeke Owen was amazing, man. Yeah. I loved it. I worked for Mighty Joe, which was Philadelphia Eddie's son. I worked with him in Jacksonville. I've worked with so many amazing fucking people that in the industry it's so crazy. Like, because because I don't know if anybody knows about Fun City, but like most people cannot ever go back to Fun City once they leave.
No, that's a New York thing.
I was the motherfucker that I was friends with Jonathan, and I owned a shop, so I was like, I'm not there to mooch off you. I'm not there to do anything. I just want to do tattoos and make something of myself. And like he was like, dude, you're doing it. Like I actually. Once I left Fun City in, I think it was 97, I think, or 96, 90, whenever the first Roseland Ballroom show was, that I left and went to Derb's. I went to Stain Skin. I worked with Derb, and then Jonathan calls me. He's like, hey, you want to come back and work my booth at the Roseland Ballroom show?
That was 97, 96.
So I went back and did the Roseland Ballroom show with Jonathan and did a guest spot. And I was hanging out with fucking Zeke Owen again. I was like, hey, see, fuck me. I was hanging out with Zeke Owen, and Zeke Owen and Deborah Inksmith. I was like, you gonna have Zeke Owen and Deborah Inksmith guest spot at the same spot?
Dude, that's awesome. That's legendary, man. Like, so let me ask you a question. Were you always as fucking much of a kookapotamus back then as well as today. Because I mean, so that's the thing. I will admit, one of the first times you left an impression on me was in the Richmond convention. And you used to work in that whole crew at the North Carolina like aisle kind of thing. And again, you were one of those people that always drew stuff on the skin, always made a fucking, not only did you make a mark, but you also left a real impression on like I did. Fuck him.
Yeah, there was like a million girls holding their mouth going, "What did he just say to me?"
Yeah. No, but I think it's just like, but you had like you definitely had this character and just style and everything. I mean, the idea that everything was drawn on, you were fast. Like, did you always have that?
Yeah, you know, and in this business, like, there's so many fucking people that are so uptight. A fucking bunch of fucking. Oh my God! Did you just say that? Fuck you, man.
Oh, dude. Okay. First of all, yeah.
Don't give him a seizure.
Like, don't give him a seizure. Like, we can't even go. How you? Yeah. No. I mean, the fact is, I think we're fortunate. In the sense
going into a Long Island stroke.
No.
He's like,
I know, right? Because it is hard to. But we are fortunate. I think we're fortunate to be of this weird generation where. We've never broken so many horrible fucking rules. Like we've never.
Yeah, but we've also broke stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? We've improved on them.
Yeah.
You know, because actually, even no, you know, I'm pretty carefree and don't give a fuck. But I still
carefree.
But I still, you know, I'm still always fucking going for. I'm always trying to better the business. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to better, you know, how people visualize. You know, don't worry about what the fuck I say. Worry about you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to benefit and trying to make things better and do it in a light that, like, hey, we can fucking still have fun and do this shit, you know? We can still be amazing people. We can be, you know, I'll talk to anybody in the world. Apprentice can come up to me. I'll give you everything. I'm not gatekeeping fucking shit. I was like, if you ask me a fucking question, I'm gonna fucking give you the answer because I want you to fucking better this business. Because there's so many people trying to fucking hide shit. I'm like, what are you hiding? I was like, you can watch this shit on the internet now. Like, what's wrong with you? But if a person really wants to fucking learn, I want to fucking teach them. You know, my biggest pet peeve is I'm in a shop of 20 motherfucking artists and I'm doing sleeves fucking every goddamn day, back pieces, drawing them the fuck on. Like, you'll never in your fucking lifetime see this shit happen every day. And they're just sit there, they'll peep in the door, I'm like, oh. And then wander off. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you come in and ask me?
That was one of the problems with my last shop that I worked at. I fucking had to leave because it's like everybody I'd go into the room and I'd watch them tattoo. Like I'd stand there and be like, oh, cool.
Like,
and they'd look at me. They would literally turn to me and go, what? And I go, what? Like, what do you need? I go, nothing. What's everything all right? And they're like, well, why are you standing here? I'm like, because you're doing a tattoo and we work in the same shop and I like tattooing. See what you're doing, so I just wanted to watch. And they're like, oh, well, you're giving me anxiety. You're making me nervous.
I'm gonna punch you in the back of the head.
for a tattooer watching you tattoo, you have anxiety and are nervous.
Oh my
God.
Take it.
Yeah, but why are you standing here? Well, I'll fucking. Do you want me to sit? It's just weird. I go,
you want me to give you some pointers?
It's weird to fucking watch a tattooer who works with you in the same shop to want to watch you work. Yeah. I was like, are you fucking serious? And it was like, it happened a lot. And I was like, this is fucking weird.
Well, let me ask you a question. Like we fast forward to today. Do you think that the conversations that we have, the way in which we speak, the advice that you give, do you think it's going to make a fucking difference? Or do you honestly believe these people are so dug in as being shut-in weirdos? And I say that
it's weird. I don't necessarily know that it's that way. I think now, back then, because of how we had to get information was that you got in your fucking car, a plane, and you went and hung out and you talked to somebody. You hung out with somebody. You tattooed by that person. Yeah. You did all that shit. Nowadays, people look at it like, you shouldn't open your mouth. You know nothing. I need to watch the internet. Instagram is only going to teach me how to tattoo. It's like, unless it comes for their phone, they don't give a fuck about nothing.
No, but the thing, I think that we do have, there is a huge part of the new generation that is looking out for this.
I think it's part of the socializing aspect of things, too.
Well,
Yes.
Some people don't know how to socialize anymore.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is with shops now is what culture does the shop breed? Like,
Yeah.
we have a culture in my shop, like when you guys come, guest artists, I tell my guys, I'm like, go watch them tattoo. Get in the booth, go watch a tattoo. When we're here alone with each other, we're always in each other's booths. If you breed the culture, where it's like, hey, let's all learn. That Alex kid that's coming to work here, literally is just coming because it's like, I need to get better, and I can get better here. But all these shops have this weird culture now where everyone's doing their own thing and no one needs to be watched or looked at because
it's their style.
You know, everyone wants to live on a little special island where they're the coolest person in the world. And it's like, if every shop breeds that culture, that's what tattooing is going to become. And it does take people breeding the culture of being like, watch everybody, learn from who you can, go out and meet the people that you want to meet. If we stop doing that.
That's why I went to Fun City.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like, best motherfuckers in the world.
But the idea, the idea that some of these young tattooers are thinking right now, like, I would get up and just move. I would own a shop and move to another state to work for 35% with some dudes because I think they're cool. They think that's a ridiculous idea.
Well, I mean, dude, so back in 2000, my wife and I moved to New Hampshire so I can go work with Corey Kruger.
Yeah.
And it was literally for no other reason than to work with an artist that I admired and thought was better than me, and someone I thought I could learn from.
I used to drive to Pittsburgh once a month just so I could work with Willie Roth and watch him tattoo. You know, at fucking Boney Joe's in Zillionople, fucking Pennsylvania.
Zillionople?
Zillionople. That's a real fucking place.
Zillionople.
Yeah, wow. Somebody named that.
That's a fucking mouthful.
After what you just fucking called him at the beginning of this shit?
What'd I call him?
You have to rewind it. I don't fucking know what that thing was. It had like 900 syllables in it.
But that's the point.
I thought it stopped and he took 2 breaths and kept going.
I was Godsmacked.
The fuck? Yeah.
Oh my god! It's the idea that you are going to have to self-actualize and go and put in the work yourself to learn from people is so fucking foreign because everybody wants it handed to them.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it's a matter of being foreign, and it's also a matter of they just don't know any better. You know what I mean? And again, you know what the worst part about all of this is the fact that we keep saying they. You know what I mean? And I know that technically is a common term now.
I was gonna say, isn't that like applicable now?
Yeah.
Like the proper way to say it?
Yeah. I could be a thems.
Shit. We're canceled.
Thank you for getting rid of my.
Well,
Now
that
I
was
don't have to worry
the
about this
last
anymore.
bit of not for nothing.
They or them.
Now we're left with no, it's nothing. It's no longer not for nothing no more.
It's a nada.
Yeah.
But I think the whole point of this is the fact that there are people out there that still do want to go out there and learn and they do listen to the little things, and there is
I still do that.
Well, there is the glimmer of the individual that is just that individual who is not going to cave into his generation. He's going to be the one that says, no, I want to go out there and fucking find these artists. I want to go out there and find the people I want to get tattooed by and learn from. I think that's always going to be the thing.
I have a lot of people that come up, mainly in conventions, it was like, because the thing is everybody is like, how are you so fast? And I'm like, I'm not fast, I'm efficient.
No,
I don't.
It's a combination of the two. With you, I would go as far as to say it's not just efficiency.
Remember,
you are very fast.
You know it's there, you just don't wipe.
My clients love me for that.
Your client today wasn't too keen on it. Motherfucker, every time you wiped, he was kind of like he was just shaking.
He was cold.
Yeah, he was in the middle of an exorcism.
Dying. He done punched the heat out of that boy.
He's skinny. That happens.
Oh my God.
It usually happens to the military guys.
Yeah.
All right. So we went from North Carolina.
Oh my God.
To New York. I know we keep getting sidetracked.
I went from Fun City to Stain Skin.
Stain Skin.
Stain Skin. I was amazed that that shop at that time of it was wild. It was I worked with Gunner. Big baby head Gunner, not the old new school big baby head Gunner.
Big baby head Gunner.
Hoffa was our front person, which became our the apprentice. And
Was he just still doing art? He was doing art college.
yeah, well that's
what
that
brought
I
me,
used to I used to sit up with Hoffa and watch that full draw, and it was
He's one of the most
he did
underrated
every
artists.
Yeah,
he did every
Hoffa's
freaking
insane.
he did every freaking damn every poster for punk rock bands that came to town. It was like I remember the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones fucking poster that he did. It was fucking amazing.
I love
Jesus.
Hoffa's enthusiasm too.
And he was in I used to
Like-
like he was in a band. He was in fucking Blatant Finger.
Yeah.
He was in Tony Terrell's band, and I used to go see them. I when we weren't at the shop, I go fucking hang out with them and watch their band play and shit. It was and hell, Derb, Tat was there, and Sidro.
That's actually where I first met you at. Because Derby's Penal Courage crew dude. And when me and Ron and those dudes would go to Columbus, we would stop by Stain Skin. That was the first time forever.
we would tattoo bands like face to face, and like God, it was wild. It was an amazing time, going from New York where I was dealing with all the celebrity crap, because all the bands would hang out on the stoop, and Mike Tyson hang out on the stoop. We tattooed the Selena that died, that got killed or whatever. Madonna came in the shop. We did at Fun City. We did the David Letterman tattoo skit.
Oh shit! Okay.
That was really cool.
All right, before we go further and I forget, is the word stoop a term you use for a porch in the South?
No.
Okay, so it is it is a New York thing
stoop?
that you are taking.
It's stoop is everywhere.
Stoop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my
Detroit
point.
we call
But it's like the little stairs. There's not a porch.
That's what I'm asking. So I grew up calling it a stoop, but a lot of people, I've said that before in front of people, and they just go,
A porch is a little
sit on the
wider.
stoop. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
a stoop is a landing and 4 stairs.
That's
okay,
yeah.
there you go.
So a stoop is basically that you have the door and you get to the sidewalk.
Yes.
A porch is like you can sit on a
So,
porch.
okay,
There's a fucking wrap around it.
I use the word porch to put it in his wheelhouse. It's very rare. It's very rare that I've heard the word stoop used outside. Well, yeah, exactly. Because I've never called the front of a house a porch in New York.
There's not that much room.
Yeah, it's like my porch. I stepped onto my neighbor's porch.
It's Stupidville.
I stepped onto my neighbor's
Oh, these
porch
fucking
while
stoops.
pacing the front of our block.
Yeah.
Down from the bodega.
Oh God, this one's going fast. Holy shit!
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God.
All right. So Stain Skin was amazing. I really tried really hard to get my speed. My speed started getting there because it was like college town, house, it was, banger, 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 and literally it was like one of those where, I looked
And
up
tattoos?
I looked up at Derb. I'm like, well, I looked up to Derb, and like one of those where you're, you want to like prove yourself to someone, you look up to somebody and be like, so like every freaking, because he's like, dude, how you already done with that? So I was like, every time I come, I was like, here, I gotta bring the tattoo to him, to Derb. Like, hey, check it out. Check out what I just did. He was like, you just went back there. Like, I was like, how are you already done with it? I was like, check it out. I was like, so I wanted to prove myself to Derb. It was one of those respect things. We kind of were the same age. We kind of grew up the same. We're both punk rock kids. And so I was like, I looked up to him, because he was a successful business owner. His shop was shop was popping. Columbus was amazing because it's it was I was going back to where I lived, where I came from, and so I think Stain Skin was one of the biggest positive things. Fun City was awesome, but Stain Skin is kind of where I kind of put where I refined everything, where I was like, oh,
where you started to develop,
where I started to develop, like this is what I'm doing, and that's where it kind of clicked.
That's a good way to put it too, because when you look at something like a Fun City, that was so like wow, like it was like so fast. Yeah, most certainly. But the thing was, it was also underground. Mm-hmm. It was ahead of its time for the time. Where Derb comes into the game, and he's a smart character. He's a smart guy. He knows what he wants, and he's ambitious as fuck. Mm-hmm. So to be in a situation like that,
locked into the fucking neighborhood too. Like, I mean, he was embedded.
He was a staple.
Yeah, he was a staple. Yeah, because we did everything for the community. Like this is what I started learning. That's why I learned as a business, future business owner at that time. Well, I already owned a business, but it's like where I was like, hey, we can do this for the community. We can do this for the community, and you can get more. Outreach, you know what I'm saying, where you can actually be a part of something where you change the perspective of tattooed people for the public, what I'm saying? And that was a really positive thing, because Columbus is very progressive. There was a lot going on, especially with the short north and all the stuff going on down there, and like literally like we changed a whole lot of perspectives on the tattoo industry, because like we were involving ourselves in positive things rather than being the whole biker shenanigans that I grew up in.
And
so
that's actually that's a really good way of putting it, because in the beginning it literally was just doing tattoos and making fucking money and being part of a subculture where people like Derb kind of pulled tattooing out of the subculture and kind of made it, he like at the forefront of making it the norm. You know what I mean? Making it like it took years for baristas at Starbucks to be able to fucking wear a tattoo.
Well, I think back then
too, like face tattoos.
Yeah. Well, you think back then too, like when we say biker tattoo shops, it was like a lot of times they were a front, or they were just an extra thing about with the clubs and stuff like that. And then you had a younger generation that came into it that was, because it was kind of outlawish, it was kind of punk rock, it was kind of like rebellious. So you had a lot of young kids that wanted to like, fuck it, I want to get a tattoo. I want to, like a lot of the music that we listened to, everybody was tattooed. But we were raised and kind of grew up in that era to where we almost felt like outsiders. So you found your crew, you found like your belonging, you found your tribe, where if it was music related, skate, not drinking alcohol. If you found like your lunchroom table, it was like, this is my people, And when you find that, like, all right, well, I like music, you like music, so let's just hang out. Or fuck, you like fighting, I like fighting, let's just hang out. Like, you like fucking, cars, I like cars, let's just hang out. You had that kind of thing. And I think that once, people in our generation or that era grew up a little bit, becoming like, hey, you're not a kid no more, you're an adult kid. And so you brought that same kind of mentality with you to where it's like, look, man, I knew what it was like to be a kid that had nothing. I knew what it was like when no one hung out with me. I knew what it was like when you couldn't find shit. And so you kind of started to develop that kind of that shop aura towards like, look, man, if you feel like an outsider, here's the place to come, And if you're an outsider, then you're not going to be here long. So it's like you were kind of given the opportunity to go in and find that kind of camaraderie. So it was like, we remember the days of like, look, man, the shit was fucking really rough in the shop. And then we get into a little bit more of a few years older shop, modern shop. And it was like still kind of like roughhoused, but it was more like open arms a little bit. Like people were more welcoming him in, Like, oh, you're a young kid. Well, that's all right. Cool. Come in. You like to skate. You like to fucking ride bikes. You do this, you do that. It's like everyone in the shop had some kind of venture into that same kind of thing. And I think it just really built with inside, where nowadays everything is almost so segregated. They're like, if it's so political, if it's fucking ideology, whatever it may be, they're just like, wait, first, hold on, fill out this application before we let you come in the door. Whereas then it was like, look, man,
Well, that's the problem.
you're cool to be here until you're not cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it was. Nowadays, it's like people find what we do is like so weird. You're like, no, this is just how we were raised, man. We were just raised like, look, man, we share information, we hang out, we do this stuff. It's like, yeah, I've fucking been tattooing a long time, or yeah, that person's been tattooing a long time, or you've been tattooing a short time. But it's like, you don't hold that over anything until if you're an asshole as a person, you're like, yeah, this isn't for you, man. Fuck off. Right. You know, where that was the kind of shop that I think, not that I was, started in, but it was what I was raised in. You know, it really started to help me develop the understanding of like what the tattoo community meant. You know, it's like we were fresh enough in it to understand the prejudice about being tattooed.
Yeah.
But we also understood about like, no, man, because we're all tattooed, we have a certain thing in common. And it became so like publicly acceptable. It's like, you know, it's normal just for every single person on the damn planet to be tattooed.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's none of that kind of no more. And I think that's where a little bit of, I can say my bitterness comes from, is because it was like, look, man, you're kind of just shitting away out of the thing that we thought was really cool and developed you as a character and as a person. And now it's just one of these things like you go in and you're just like, no, you're not allowed to be here. You're not being here. Like I was saying, like when I was looking for one of the shops to work in fucking Florida, and I seen some of this shit online and I thought it was a fucking joke, but I literally had 2 shops ask me that if I would not use coils in the shop because they thought it was too noisy, and they thought it was like it would create an uncomfortable environment.
Dude,
and I was like,
the most amazing.
I'm like, I cannot fucking walk out of this shop fast enough. I was like, holy fuck. Yeah.
The most amazing thing about that was, so I remember the first time I went to a tattoo convention was Doncaster, England, where rotaries were really kind of taking control. Like they were really becoming more prevalent in the business. So I'd say maybe half the people on the floor were using rotaries. And I remember walking down one aisle and not hearing anything. Like you could hear.
What was that me at last year in Hell City? Wasn't it? I think I was the only one using a coil on that floor.
Yeah, no, full on. It's one of those situations.
Well, using a Dan Cuban.
Well, yeah, and again,
like
it's nice that
No,
certain.
you weren't there. No,
I was in Hell City last year. Yeah.
I wasn't there the year before.
Oh, yeah, the year before.
The year before.
I was there too.
But the
No,
fact
you were on the second. You were on a different floor.
But no, he was on. He's always been on the floor.
I didn't hear no fucking coils from you.
Yeah. I use a Dan.
Well, dude, I mean, Hell City's also a much bigger floor. But the fact of the matter is, I remember the first time it happened being so fucking weirded out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward to a couple of years ago where we did I didn't do the Richmond show. I went to the Richmond show on Saturday to check it out. This is Jesse's show now, and JD Crow had brought in a bunch of old school guys. And upstairs, he had most of like your Ink Masters and younger characters and whatever. And everybody upstairs was using rotaries. So you go upstairs, it's quiet. You were using rotaries too.
Well, Dan Cuban.
It doesn't fucking matter. It was quiet. When I walked up,
were you using the Dan Cuban only to line?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's good point. So when I walked up, it's fucking silent in his booth. Just saying. So I walk up, we go through that.
Got him.
Exactly. We walk around that floor, and then we make our way downstairs. Now, if anybody has been to the Richmond convention, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. You go downstairs, there's a short flight of stairs. When you walk into that little tiny lobby area, there's a tiny little service bar to your right, and then the door entering into the actual ballroom. When you walked, as you were walking towards that door, all you heard was the hum of machines, the buzz of machines, the hum of people talking, like actually speaking to one another. And and the reason why I say that is because upstairs was dead fucking silent. Like literally dead fucking silent.
Well,
like
nobody talked.
Nobody was talking.
It is a side effect of using rotary machines. They're quiet. Makes you talk quiet. Okay, we're having this conversation.
Thank you. Exactly.
Because the sound of a loud machine, it makes you more comfortable to talk loud and to be, to engage an entire room in a conversation.
And that is a wonderful way to put it. Because when you think about the fact that you're in a situation Like if you were to go to a quiet restaurant, you're gonna be much more reserved.
You?
We're not talking about me. We're not talking about me. We are not talking about me.
I call bullshit.
We are not talking about me. But I agree. I think that when you go to a nice restaurant and a quiet restaurant, you're going to be more reserved. You're going to watch what you say. I'm not talking about me.
Or me.
Or neither one's of you.
Any of us.
Neither one's of you.
This doesn't count for any of
I
us.
can fucking see going to a fucking 5-star Michelin fucking restaurant where everyone's so fucking quiet, and then Joe's like, "What the fuck ever? $18 a goddamn pour? Who the fuck's sucking dick after this?"
I said we weren't talking about me. And then you go to a louder bar, whatever. You're going to act differently. You're going to speak louder.
True.
You're going to be more. You're going to accentuate your words. And not for nothing. The topics of conversation are also going to dramatically change. So yes, what you just said now it makes perfect sense. But when you went down to the second floor, to the first floor, you walked that floor. I swear to God, it was like stepping back in time. Like I walked in there and I'm like, this is fucking Richmond.
Nice.
This is fucking Richmond.
Yeah, because the original was always on the first floor.
Well, so
Richmond, like I got so many fucking memories of that shit being yelled at by Billy in like the most politest way. It was like the
Never
most
polite.
hysterical.
Dude,
Dude, it was fucking funny, man. I thought it was polite. I mean, I've watched him be way fucking worse.
Yeah.
But it was fucking funny. I was like standing there, like trying to open the door, and I thought, damn, going. He's like standing around looking. I'm standing there just fucking kind of looking. He's like, "You got something to fucking say?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting." So the door comes. He goes, "Well, then use your fucking mouth, motherfucker." He's like, "I ain't fucking sitting here trying to read your goddamn mind. Ask to fucking open the door." And I was like, "Can you open the door?" He was like,
It's
"It was like I was like, thank you." It was just fucking funny. Where he's just yelling at me. And I was like, "That's really cool."
I do remember when they opened the second floor and they had bands playing up there, and then they eventually moved the contest up there, and that's when, I'll be honest with you, that's when Richmond started to slide because they started to get bigger.
Wait,
and
wasn't it the time that event happened on that bench on the second floor?
the bench.
Yeah.
You have to remind me. I don't know.
There was those two couples, that couple that laid out on that long ass bench right there, and everyone was standing around.
No, I thought that was Philly.
That was two.
Yeah, I remember. That wasn't a couple. That was two fucking gals going at it.
Yeah.
And they had a crowd.
Yeah,
That was Philly.
that was Philly.
That was like the second Philly, I think. It was second Philly.
Yeah, because that's when
was
that guy died and.
That was that guy died.
Was that the fucking biker shenanigans in the
No, that was a different one.
okay.
That was a different one.
Dude, that's the thing.
That was funny too, though.
These kids today, man,
Yeah.
you have no idea.
Dude, that was the best when they kicked fucking guys painting over it. He was just like, it was like, "What are you gonna yell at SWAT?" Like, nope.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to be the one to say this, guy, but you're not going to do anything.
But calm down, sir. All right, but I guess I fucking want to kind of backtrack a little bit, but
So stained skin, and then we're
Stained Skin. well, to relate the Stained Skin to Fun City, one of my very dear friends, and it was one of Hoffa's very dear friends was Chris Fouts. I don't know, you know Chris.
I met Chris.
Chris Fouts is the one who I will
Chris
fucking go
Fouts.
on record. He's the one who named New School.
Chris Fouts was an amazing person that I hung out with in Columbus, and also knew him from Fun City because he was one of the editors. You know, he did a lot of the intros to the International Tattoo magazine for Jonathan. So that's how I met him, and then I was like, oh. I'm going to Columbus. He literally lived like 2 blocks from the shop, and it was amazing. Like I get to hang out with him, and he was such an amazing person.
Oh, Chris is fucking awesome, man.
and a gem for the tattoo industry. It was. I really wish he was still with us. He was such an amazing person.
There has been a handful of people like that. I think. I'm not going to say those people don't exist anymore, but they are fewer and far between now than they were back then. Because back then, it wasn't just a matter
because
of...
it was a bigger
back
voice.
then,
You know,
we had only a handful of photographers back then we only had a handful of fucking conventions, but there was very specific type of photographers that also worked in other industries and stuff that, you know, like they were doing music and bike shows and car shows, and, you know, they were traveling around doing their own books. You know, they were just as creative as the tattooers, you know. They really helped push a lot of that life, and especially with like piercing and stuff when that was a thing, you know, with Gauntlet and, you know, all that stuff, you know. The photographers back then, you know, they were a huge staple into fucking, you know, like the popularity of a lot of things because they fucking knew how to do their job, you know?
Well, I think part of it was the fact that they could, I can't say you can make a living, but you made a better living back then doing that than I think you make now.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You know, if I had to guess.
Well, then, I mean, fuck, they were doing film and shit back then still, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was a whole different.
So
ball
you made
game.
that look. So when I said new school tattoo with Chris Fowles.
So the reason why I say that is because, I mean, I don't remember. So my idea of new school tattoo happened before international. Like I remember when, you know, you had all that stuff coming out of the West Coast where that was kind of being coined as new school. And that was before international, man.
Now I remember before he was doing international said that though. This was back when like when Tattoo Flash came out. That's when he was still working for them. That's when I remember him telling me new school, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell that means.
So then I wasn't privy to that conversation or ever, and had no idea. It just
this
came
was before
on.
the shop. The shop in California was named New School. This is before any of that. Oh
yeah, no, I would imagine
this was before, because when I was listening to him talk, and this is when people were talking about like, oh, did you see that guy's tattoo or this? You know, used to be, you know, like people were known by the tattoos that they did. You know, because again, we didn't have social media, we didn't have that stuff. You knew the tattoo. You know, it's like you can look at that stuff but not know who the fucking person looked like. You know, I mean, how many times do you remember? I mean, Dean DeKine got famous because of the tattoo guy did on him. Yeah. You know, he was a good tattooer, but his name was known.
He was probably one of the first artists that kind of like aped a style and then went at it. Like literally like made sure that it was published in the magazines and he became like, which is funny because his career was so short-lived in that sense of like, he didn't become the next Guy Asian. He didn't become a peer to him. He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. But I mean, people recognized him a lot. You know, I mean, he was known in California.
Brandon Bond didn't disappear fast enough. Didn't disappear fast enough. And we're not even sure. That motherfucker is like the boogeyman. You're going to fucking go home one day and you get a phone call. It's like, hey, buddy. Not cool.
But then when you look at like, you know, like Dean DeKine's back piece, but then you look at like Frank Bianco's back, that fucking, the man on the wall that Tom Renshaw did. And you had, you know, all kinds of things. I remember just looking at like certain roses and, you know, looking at a Gilmani skull. Like you fucking knew who did that shit, you know?
Well, I mean, because when I was in it, it was like West Coast, East Coast.
That's where it was.
Black
that was
and gray
it.
color. Black and gray. Well, no, black and gray color.
So that's where I'm kind of going. So the only time that I really understood when the word styles started to really be pushed in Detroit, from where I remember it being, is that they compared a lot of stuff. Well, if you said California, even though it was heavily traditional out there, everything was thought fine line black and gray style. Yeah. And everything East Coast was all basically American traditional kind of stuff. But we had so many different diversities in but that's just how it was paired.
East Coast, we didn't have really just American traditional. You just had tattoos.
But that was because you lived there, so you understood it and seen it. Yeah. But what was going in the magazines, that's what it became known to the average public.
Yeah, if the magazine
said it, it was like, well, California only does black and gray fine line, and East Coast only does American traditional. Well, but that's not true.
But that's where I think that. Well,
And when I started hearing about, like, they were like, well, dude, Texas. I'm like, Texas, you know? I'm like, yeah, but you had so many different things coming out of Texas. They had their own style. It was like, it was a mixture of the two. Yeah. And that's when they really started, you know, talking about like, well, dude, that's like the Texas thing. It's like, It's not American traditional. It's American traditional with the flair. And that's when I really kind of started seeing like, man, that's kind of almost graffiti looking. Right. You know, that was kind of this. It was kind of that. And I'm fucking spacing his name right now. The back piece guy in Texas.
Japanese?
No. Yeah.
Chris Trevino.
Trevino.
Yeah.
Trevino.
I was about to say
Trevino.
I was like, then you got a random Japanese Trevino.
The second he went down that route, I'm like, we got to mention Trevino.
Well, you have to mention Chris Trevino. But that was the thing is like, he was the first person that I've ever seen, not one, but two full fucking portfolios of like bodysuits in giant pieces.
Back in like the 90s.
Yeah. But it was crazy to see, you know, and that was like the really rush of a lot of that stuff. But his style was so recognizable, you know. And then you had guys like, well, then there was Dave Lum.
Well, so that's a legit thing. You had Dave Lum. And then right after
Dick
him,
swastikas.
Well,
that's
but dude, not for nothing. He was featured in all the in the Ed Hardy Tattoo Times, and then you had Richard Stell, who was right. And again, I believe Richard Stell actually put Dave Lum as I don't want to say mentor, but they were involved together before Dave left Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was
but when you look at Richard Stell, like you knew for a fact he did that fucking Panther.
Yeah.
You know,
Just like Bob Roberts. You knew what the fuck.
Oh, dude,
Like Bob Roberts, you knew what the fuck. That's a Bob Roberts.
You know, like Greg Irons and stuff. You're like Greg Irons, and you're like, well, fuck Greg Irons. You know, and then you look.
Well, even taking it back to Ohio, everybody knew a fucking Marty Hogan tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Marty. Marty. And again, the art fag in me fucking adored like Judy Parker, fucking Bernie
Parker,
Luther, fucking Marty Holcomb. These were artists that like just literally embraced that whole fantasy genre, like Dungeons and Dragons. Like that brought all that fucking teenage shit
Well,
out of
like,
the
that's where even from like South America, like the Sagado. Like
it was Sagado.
It was fucking like I mean I was stealing that shit when I was fucking in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
but I mean that was the thing back then. I remember the Frank Lees.
Frank Lees,
the
fucking
Randy
eyeballs.
Mullers.
Like goddamn Frank Lee eyeballs. Goddamn.
Yeah. And
prison eyeballs.
Dude, and Vinnie Myers, you know, Eddie Deutsch, you know, like that whole fucking crew. Like to me, before there was a thing called New School, I watched these guys take what was American traditional, flare it the fuck out, that it looked graffiti looking, and I was like, that's got so much more character.
Well, that's
I
why
remember
like Eddie Deutsch doing fucking goddamn.
Well, that's why it was always
It's like
that's why it was always a kick in the ass being called a new school artist and saying that was never going to last, because any good fucking new school artist uses every fucking basic fucking rule that is used in American traditional tattoos. We just take it a step further.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't believe I said we, because I never considered myself a new school tattooer. But the fact of the matter is, it is literally based in good tattooing most of the time. Now it's a free.
Well, yeah, now it's like tattooing is like trying to say music genre. You got to give like 9 different examples to understand what someone's talking about.
It's funny because you can look at that from that perspective, and you could say, well, you know, we had realism artists like Nico, but now you have realism artists that have come on the scene 15, 20 years later, and they do not tattoo anything like him. And all those rules have been broken.
Yeah.
And what I mean by rules, I mean the things that make a tattoo last.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a fucking reel, because that's gonna light the fucking internet on fire. But it's true. It's like there are things that certain tattooers do from a certain age that well, that's gonna last. You know, maybe not as long as a good tattoo, but it's gonna last longer than a realism tattoo being done today. So, and you know, fucking challenge me on it.
Depending on what filters you got.
Well, but that's the point. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're not talking about filters. We're talking about seeing something.
Back to what I'm going for was the thing of like, I remember looking at all this stuff develop, and nobody was calling anything. It was basically you were like
tattoos.
That person. You know, you called that person's name out because not that person owned the style. It's just we were recognized buy like certain tattoos that had been posted or published or something. You were just like, oh fuck yeah, oh there's that piece. Like I mean, dude, the first time we did a show. I asked you this. Me and you had this conversation before. Shot the black and gray piece, the fucking boxer guy on the guy's back.
The boxer.
The black and gray thing he was from Europe. We worked this show.
Not Stefan.
Stefan. Yeah, Stefan.
Oh, Schotterzeg.
Schotterzeg, yeah. I remember, like, the first time I was at a show and he brought, like, 4 or 5 people with him.
Oh,
and,
so...
dude, they fucking walked almost military style to show off his work. And I was like, holy fuck. And to see that in person was insane because I was only really introduced a lot to only American black and gray.
That was the beginning. That was the beginning of.
And to me, that's
painterly.
When they really started to kind of push the titles of things that I had kind of noticed. Because it used to just be tattoos and a name underneath it, and then all of a sudden it was like black and gray, color. And I'm like, well, that was the first I fucking remember seeing that on the top of a page or something. Like,
right.
Like, holy shit. Or categories when you went to a convention.
Yeah.
I was like, it used to just be
1
tattoo.
billion.
There's too many
1
categories.
billion categories.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah.
Participation trophy.
Yeah. But so that was back then. So, but Chris
If
was
there's 5 places, you gotta participate.
But Chris was one of the first ones that I remember actually using the word new school. And I was like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like, well, looking at all these stuffs that people are sending me, he's like, it's not American traditional, and it's not old way, it's not black and gray fine line. He's like, people are coloring like black and gray when it's soft airbrush. He goes, but all these fucking bold lines look like American traditional. He's like, it's not either one of those, so what is it? And I go, I don't fucking know. And he's like, well, it's not old school, so it's new school.
It's like being at Richmond, who are you?
Yeah.
I looked up at who are you. He's a good friend of mine. He was like, oh, but you new school. I was like,
no.
I was like, in traditional Japanese, yes, I am new school. I was like, Shige's fucking new school. Actually, Horiyoshi is fucking goddamn new school.
Yeah.
When it comes to actual fucking imagery, that's new school. It's not no fucking busted ass goddamn wonky fucking skulls. No some wonky ass fucking cabbage flowers. Fuck your bullshit.
Well,
fuck your traditional.
Technically, when I tattooed fucking Shige back in like 2000,
so
2001,
proud of him.
He was a fucking new school. No, fuck that. He was a new school tattooer though. Like the stuff he did was not traditional Japanese.
No, yeah.
It was like
it was animated, but I remember the word styles being integrated into magazines. I remember that kind of like time where it was like people were really starting to kind of like describe like, oh, this is black and gray. This is photorealism. And I was like, well, what's the fucking difference? Back then I didn't know there was a difference. I was like, well, there's just no color in it. So it's black and gray and it's realism. I'm like, no.
Well, back then too, black and gray could most of the time was kind of realism.
Yeah, well, that was
that was the
thing. Is like I remember things really starting to kind of be pushed differently,
to categories.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know how many people know this, but like when I think of fucking black and gray, fucking like smooth shit was Donnie Cox. Donnie Cox was the guy who really fucking knew how to fucking put shit out there. Like his fucking black and gray was awesome. Without Donnie Cox, there wouldn't be no Jay Wheeler or Tom Renshaw. And without Tom Renshaw and Jay Wheeler, we'd have no Bob Terrell. And then fucking go ahead and run with the fucking list past that. You had all that stuff.
I met David Vega in India.
Yeah.
Oh my! I mean, and me and him were like sitting in the back of a bus. We were like, "Hi, who are you? Who are you?" He's like, "I'm David Vega." I was like, "What do you do?" I was like, I don't look at photorealistic black and gray. He was like, you can just check me out. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll check you out. And I was like, holy fuck! I ain't never seen no shit like this before. I was like, that's
how me and Jason met. Jason Lawyer.
Oh, really?
Or Sketchy. We were on a flight. I don't know where we were coming back from. Him and his girl, we were flying somewhere. Either we were going to Vegas or coming. I don't remember where it was. We were on a plane, and I was so fucking worn out. I think I was coming back from Brazil or something. or I forget what I was coming. I was just fucking out, so I was like crashed against the fucking window. And they sit down, and you know he's heavily tattooed. His girl at the time was tattooed. And he's sitting there, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He fucking hands me his card. He's like, "Oh, like tattoos. Here you go." And he's like talking, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's great. He comes at you. He comes at you like a salesman. He's just like, "Yo, you're tattooed. Check out my shit."
Yeah, that's what he did. You know, he wasn't doing it disrespectful wise, but I was just so fucking out of it, man.
To be honest, I don't think there's enough of that anymore.
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
My guys, I've been around like young tattooers get uncomfortable because we'll go out to food or something like that, and I'll give. Jimmy's been around me everywhere we go. I'm fucking. Here's a card. Come see my tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Come on, hang out.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was funny. That's how we met. And he actually hit me up. He's like, "Motherfucker, why didn't you tell me you was a tattooer?" I go, "Dude, I was tired.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, man." And I was like, "I like your shit. We've been cool ever since."
Yeah.
But anyway, so going back from that story, so stained skin.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Jesus, we're going back to skin.
Holy shit!
So we've only made it to 1998 of your career.
Yeah. This is going to be the first, not for nothing, 2-part series.
I was gonna say we may not be talking about tattoo.
You know, it's like no. I went back. I left Ohio and went back to North Carolina, and I opened. I actually just went back. I actually started working for Carolina Tattoo, which that was Little John's. Everybody
Little John.
Everybody here knew Little John. We did actually. It was where we both of us met.
Yeah.
In was it 93 or 94? Was your first night? I know that's the.
I did the Greensboro show. No, it would have been 94, 95.
Okay,
because I started doing
I
started doing Greensboro after I did Valley. The Wilkes-Barre.
Wilkes-Barre, yeah, because we probably met at Wilkes-Barre, and then Greensboro, but that was 30 years ago. So. So, but I went back and I worked for Little John, and because I had shut my shop down in '97. And we, which Dave Cruzman was my apprentice and worked at my shop in '97, and went to Carolina Tattoo, which was Little John's shop. And then I came back from Ohio and just went and worked for Little John. And me and Dave worked together there, and eventually and we're like, hey, this is getting a little crazy with all the shenanigans that was going on with all their drama. And we were like, let's open a shop. And all of our clients was like from this little crazy town that was like 20 miles south of Greensboro called Asheboro. And we opened a shop in Asheboro together in 2000. And we owned that shop together. And then he went to California after that. And pretty much... Then the whole shenanigans with Ink Master happened. So we know where it goes from there.
So we caught up to speed. All right.
I went real quick there.
You were on season 1.
So
you were like one of the first people they reached out to. Like,
yes.
I know how they landed on everybody else, but
so with what? So Chris Longo and Mega Massacre were the people that were doing the talent search for them.
Yeah.
Like, so they were slotted to search for talent. And Chris Longo is one of my dear friends. I've tattooed Chris, and he's been one of my best friends for many years, and love him to death. His wife, the whole family is my closest friend. And Chris was like, I know this crazy motherfucker. He's like, he can tattoo his ass off, and he's funny as hell. And that's what he said. He's like, I told him, I was like, you're funnier than hell, fucking, and you can tattoo your ass off. And I was like, and they were like, called me, they're like, hey, we want to do an interview to do this I was like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I just thought it was some sort of gimmick. I thought it was a commercial or some shit, and I did it. And they're like, hey, you want to come do this? And I was like, yeah. I was like, and it was like, you're not going to get paid. I'm like, oh shit, well, it's like being at home, right?
Yeah, it's like being home in the fucking
being home in the South. But it was actually, I did so many conventions that like that style of way they do it is kind of it's kind of catered to what I do at a tattoo convention, because I normally draw everything on skin anyway as you come to me, and I was like, can I draw on skin? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. I was like, I haven't drawn on a piece of paper in 2 years. I was like, I don't even know what paper is. I was like,
so they literally wouldn't let you draw on the skin. You had to actually do everything on paper so they could document it as you were working.
Well, so how it is too is that because
you want to be
time
ahead.
and paid, you can't have any kind of advantage. So they have to, like, with all the behind the scenes, we had to have a lawyer come down for every episode, explain the rules before Dave fucking spouted it out. They had to tell us this shit, so the fucking lawyers come down and going, okay, just so you guys know, this is another 6-hour time limit. This is another challenge that's going to be this, and this. This is the word of the day. This, and this. Everyone understand
I could have probably drawn it on.
Yeah.
I could have probably drawn it on and done it.
The most amazing thing about that is the fact that it is such a fucking load of shit. And Ink Master, in my opinion, is the one that set the fucking bar on that, because those motherfuckers made decisions before the fucking judges even saw who did the fucking tattoos. There's no fucking way. I don't know if you want to get into the fucking details.
I know, and I tell this to everyone, that my experience is that I tell people, I was like, they're like, oh, it's scripted or this. Oh, fuck my ass.
Nice.
Yeah, so proud of you, Jimmy.
Real fucking nice. Real professional. Ink
My
Master.
son, dude.
That's okay. All right. Well, yeah. I always tell everybody, Ink Master is not scripted, but directed. All right. It's so like, if you watch the shit, you know, like when we go to the fucking house reality, we're all set. We gotta wait for fucking an hour for them to set fucking 5 fucking cameras in the fucking room to fucking point this way to make sure everybody's not in the fucking photos. Like fucking bullshit.
A lot like this.
And then like, hey, like, all right, while they're doing this for an hour, they're like, all right, guys, so you saw that fucking James got a little upset because of fucking goddamn so and so got fucking eliminated or blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, go. And it was like, all right, we already start. So everything's true feelings. Everything's like we're truly we have our opinions, we have our ideas, and we have our, you know, because we're all fucking friends. We literally all friends. Me and Jimmy's been fucking friends forever. We fucking, you know, we all know what's happening, but the real world don't see it. But like really, they're like, so it happens. They're like, okay, go guys, and like we start fucking doing our bickering and fucking, you know, oh yeah, this is what's going on, blah blah. Yeah, I was upset, fucking blah blah blah, and then somebody starts perking up, and then, you know, of course they need a little bit of drama, so they'll have fucking Clean or some fucking body that one of the fucking ramper hams that fucking rev it up a little bit, to fucking start bitching with somebody, and they're like, hold on guys, Clean, you go back to the back room. And then they set all the cameras again, so them motherfuckers ain't even in the picture no more.
So you just get more arguments. And
so now then it starts again, and they're like, okay, go again. And we're like, okay. Then we start talking. What were we talking about again? You were like, everybody's like looking at each other like, what were we talking about? Okay. All right. Back to the point.
Yeah, but on the first season, how you guys operated was so much different than when
because
we came
it was
back.
the pilot and we didn't know shit.
Well, I was gonna say they were trying to figure shit out. They were trying to figure it out, and I think by season 3, they went from like how you guys are doing artwork. Second season, they were like, okay, we can do some stuff. People were kind of getting a little like trying to figure. Everybody wanted to be the lead singer, you know.
Yeah.
And then by the third one, we're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fucking fuck their mind up. We're gonna fuck with their sleep, fuck with their food, fuck with everything. Totally be pieces of shit. We're gonna antagonize them like we're on a fucking schoolyard fucking, bully fight. Yeah. We're gonna do all this shit, and then they act like no, they didn't. It's like, well, yeah, I met the guy who fucking used to fuck with our AC and heating and cooling while we were sleeping. But then I remember the same guy who'd always used to fucking turn the fucking heat on full blast while we're doing interviews. But then fucking, they would constantly fuck with you about shit and then turn around and try to ask you something personal while you're already on edge. And they're like, here we go. This is how you get good TV.
Yeah.
That's and amazing. They would
and alcohol.
Oh, no, that's the thing. That's what you said.
Well, the fact that Jimmy doesn't drink, so they gotta ramp it up just a little bit more just to fucking wind your ass up.
They did, yeah. They figured it out how, because they're like, me and Craig didn't drink on the show, and they got mad at me because I wouldn't fake toast to a Jägermeister because they were sponsored by the time. You had to act, they had a little fridge in there. And that whole Liv Mas. And I was like, we don't get free Taco Bell. Why the fuck we gotta keep saying that? You got a whole fucking Jägermeister fridge in there.
Whoa. They made you say Liv Mas?
No, Dave would always say Liv Mas. Remember the fucking joke with it's like every fucking parody thing that's on
honest,
fucking
I don't recall.
But you've had to have seen it. Anyway, so there was a thing where they had these like
he was best thinking and he wasn't worried about us.
Yeah.
I had a whole other night.
Yeah, you had a Oprah. Yeah. So anyway, I went and told them, I'm like, I'm not fake toasting. They're like, why? No one's going to see what's in a cup. I go, yeah, but I'm not going to teach my kids that I'm a fake alcoholic. I'm not toasting anything. Yeah. So I got mad. And they were sitting there fucking something. So you had to go up and there was like a little paper on the fridge where if you wanted something, they might get it for you. There was like this fucking list of shit. And I was like, whatever, I don't really fucking care, man. So me and Craig were sitting there, hanging out because that me and him hung out the most and shit, when with Joey and everybody. So he was like, oh man, you want something from the store? And I was like, oh, what are you gonna put on there? He's like, he's like, fucking tired of this water and shit. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, want to put some Perrier on? You want some too? I was like, yeah, put Perrier on there. And they came back and they're like, we can't get you Perrier. And we're like, why? They're like, it's too expensive. I go, what? They're like, it's too expensive.
What
I go,
the fuck?
Hold on. I go, Kyle just wrote like 3 different fucking vodkas and tequila and fucking alcohol in there, and you're gonna get it for him? And I go, and Maddie fucking wrote alcohol in there too. And I go, and there's like 9 other fucking bottles of alcohol in there.
And Jimmy's like,
there's a thing.
Jimmy's like, I just want some fucking club soda.
And I go, me and Craig can't get Perrier. And literally the fucking handler goes, well, if you acted like a fucking asshole with Perrier, I'd get you a case. And I was like, so because I won't act stupid on fucking water, and they're like, that's why we're getting it. And they fucking just walked away. And I was like, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, unless you get fucking alcohol, they did not give a fuck.
Dude, how crazy is that? And this is what I argued with you back, like when we were filming our last season or the second season or whatever it was, and you were filming your season and we were talking back and forth. And then later on, you kept going back. And I said to you, I'm like, dude, you are no longer a competitor.
Me and you were both. We figured that out. We figured like on season 7.
Fucking actors.
Is when I figured out on season 7, I was only like I realized like why I was only on it for season 3. They're like they needed a fucking name that they could be like, oh well, he did it, so everyone else did it. Because I remember the fucking names where everyone talked shit about fucking me being on the show. And then they drove cross country a shit ton of fucking times and fucking auditioned to try to be on Ink Master.
Yeah.
But fucking dogged me out about it. But it was like, dude, I didn't fucking go chase those guys. I didn't want to be on there. They came for me. They asked me to be on the show. But anyway, so when I was on season 7, I realized, I go, oh, yeah, that's why I'm here. It was like, dude, I felt like the guy that wore the fucking yellow shirt and fucking Star Trek. You're like, dude, you're gonna die. You know that?
No.
Yeah,
red shirt.
Oh, the red shirt. Yeah, whatever it is. Like, I felt like I was the red shirt. They're like, hey, man. I was like, oh fuck, like this isn't fucking like about tattooing or art. This is about fucking selling good commercials. And you're like, fuck.
So we learned that. I learned that quick online because
you were a judge and you had the fucking people telling you.
Huh?
You were a judge and you had the people telling you.
Yeah, but I was telling them back that's not going to happen.
Well, that was the thing. We didn't have that fucking luxury.
So that is the only that's the only caveat of me doing the show was the fact that they again, like you guys, they pursued me. I agreed to do it. I'm a character, obviously, and the whole point was when they came at us with stupid shit, I'm like, no, we're not doing that. It's fucking dumb. And I will admit, and I've said this a dozen times, had they paid me Oliver Peck and fucking Chris Nunez money, I would probably be a different person. But they never did. So you got the real person. You know what I mean? The other thing was our show was less savvy than the producers for your show. So therefore, your show got away with murder.
Oh, they figured that shit out.
Yeah.
They had that shit down to a science.
But the thing is, though, too, how many tattooers are now still pursuing that shit, still play acting and having some control? And you said,
but that's the thing.
They create who you are.
Yeah.
You don't get to have a say.
Our contract said we can depict you in any manner we wish. My lawyer looked at it and he was like, "Well, it's either going to be a goddamn, it's going to be a train ride to fucking goddamn Disneyland, or it's going to be a train ride to hell. You know, you fucking pick the path."
For you guys, did they have the fucking silly wardrobe on the first season? Because that was the one thing.
No,
I remember
it's
seeing
every
Jimmy
time
on it being like, "Why is this
With
motherfucker in a goddamn three-quarter baseball team?"
every fucking outfit we did was
Within the book.
set before we even,
I didn't know if
we
I
even
knew
started.
I knew for Jimmy's season they did, but I didn't know for the first season
from the
From
beginning.
the beginning, yeah.
because then they had Jimmy in
'Cause they have
fucking bowling t-shirts.
No, but they had to put us in fucking they we'll go out. This is hours of fucking bullshit. We have to go out and stand so they can fucking get their fucking picture to figure out, oh, the blue goes over here and the red goes over here. James got the fucking goddamn plaid, it goes over here. You know, and they'll be like, "James, move over here," and then fucking Jimmy, you go over there. You know, it's fucking and it's just fucking shenanigans. But you know, it's a game show.
Yeah, no.
It's a
but that's
game-
the
it's
point
an
is,
entertainment
like you said,
show.
it's
entertaining.
It's not
It's
scripted, but it's directed.
But the
in a way
thing
that-
was, you know, with the first season, it was true fucking like nobody knew shit. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing, other than we knew fucking Shane was going to win.
Well, that didn't work out very well either, so it doesn't really
But you
matter.
know, but it's just like American Idol. You win, you look at shit. But you know,
Yeah.
the ones that don't win are the ones that fucking benefit. But you know, it's one of those things where like we were the pilot, and fucking everybody from that, you know, you see it got stupider after the first season because you know you saw Al Fliction acting like a retard. You know, I love him to death, but you know when you act a certain way, you get more film time, and that's what people saw. They're like, oh, if I act like this way, I'm going to get more film time, and I'm going to start acting that way. Yeah. And so like people started like channeling a different person that's not them, you know, just so they can get more airtime.
Yeah.
You know, and it really sucked because like I thought I was going in, and you did too, to change things. To be like,
I was like, oh, they're gonna talk about tattooing and stuff.
I want to do.
No.
I made it about the art. And in the very first season, there's some shenanigans, and I can get to say this now, but fuck them. But like there was a whole scenario of, you know, because people were like, well, why'd you do this and why'd you do that? And I'm like, well, in the first season, there was a whole part of it that the client was interviewed and judged by the judges. So there was a huge mirror the size of fucking Texas. I mean, it was like a 10-foot fucking mirror. Like the fucking mirror on the fucking wall shit. Like
mirror is the wall.
Like you fucking on the stage, you walk out and look at the tattoo like it's the first time you've ever seen it, type thing.
Yeah.
And they're like
The reveal.
They're like looking in the mirror like, oh, you know, they're acting like fucking dumbasses. And they're like, and then the judges fucking interview them and be like, how did they work with you? That was part of our fucking judgment.
Yeah.
Was how did we relate to the canvas? And if we did everything they wanted them to do, that was a plus.
That was like funny because it was always the times where it's like I remember like, well,
and after
you didn't make the fucking client happy. I'm like, well, they're not a client. You call them a canvas, right? Because
Right.
they don't have
Yeah.
a soul or person. They're just here to participate. So why are you not calling them like a
but
client?
like after
but before when you fucked up, they were only a canvas. So like, which way do you guys got to keep flip flopping this?
Does this person have a soul?
Yeah.
well,
They do, but not when they're participating in a game show where they're like, no, you're an object and you don't mean nothing. You're just here to donate a part of your skin, and we're going to do whatever we want, but we're going to just add other words to it.
But the problem was that our thought process and our minds, while an artist and trying to do what we're supposed to be doing and competing, is we didn't talk them out of doing something on their fucking hip. We didn't talk about doing, don't put a fucking portrait on your ass. I mean, don't do, I mean, we're like, okay, yes, ma'am. You know,
Yeah,
I'm fucking like,
did tattoos, yeah.
Like, I mean, literally it was like, and then after the first season, when they took all of that, I mean, there was some there was hours of like filming that was like totally lost. Like oh my God. This is the fucking best ever.
You better make it good because I'm tired of talking about Ink Master on this podcast.
Oh shit! No, this was awesome. Like, you remember when Josh did the pinup of the girl? The boyfriend got the pinup of his ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
All right, so during this scenario, all right,
It's a scenario.
this scenario,
It is now.
like
It is now.
like this motherfucker get a portrait, cowgirl, whatever, and, kind of fucking new schooly, fucking of his ex-girlfriend. So during the reveal, this bitch comes rolling out on stage to the mirror behind his ass and fucking surprises him. It was like, what the fuck? This is so creepy. You fucking gonna goddamn get a portrait of me. We've been broke up for like 2 years.
Oh, for fuck's sake. For
And like,
real?
oh my God. I was like,
That's some Springer shit.
and we were like, what the fuck? Everybody was dying.
Master.
It was like, it was the best fucking
Dude,
thing
not
ever.
for nothing.
It would have been the best TV and they took it all out.
Oh, that didn't even make
They,
the that didn't even
they
make
took it all out.
Oh, there was some shit that happened on our season too. This fucking, I was like, that
That's
is not airing.
wild.
That's never fucking airing.
Really?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
See, that's the thing with when we did Best Ink, there was no. I mean, there may have been, and I didn't see it. I mean, I was on set every day, but most of the stuff that I said and whatnot never
Dude,
got
we've
aired.
had how they used to do for the clients or the canvases to fill out. They would fill out these forms and they would call people in. But sometimes there's certain episodes where they were short people, where they literally were fucking like some of the staff or like people that worked on fucking set.
Yeah.
Found somebody at some party or some bar or some restaurant the night before and was just like, fuck, here, just come be a part of this thing. And that's how a lot of that shit all got done. And it was like fucking like the weirdest shit that would fucking happen. I'll take off fucking the thing. But there was one time, there was a girl.
Well, dude, it's this is an inclusive
Oh
podcast.
no, this one. I would.
Statute of limitations
we haven't
isn't
been
up.
we haven't been canceled yet.
Oh no, there's some shit that I'll say that fucking I don't even want my phone around me. There's some shit that I'm like, yeah, that's probably gonna be in front of a judge, somebody, and we're gonna get in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, there was a girl fucking when they had to do the take, so it's like the canvases had to walk down the hallway and then go to line, and then you had to look at the little markers on the ground. They came in, and there was this girl that she was like right in the middle of the line, and she paused, and so the rest of the line came out, and she stops, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And she comes walking down like she's on a runway, does this little fucking spin, fucking poses, and walks back over, and Dave just goes, "What in the actual fuck?" And I was like, we were like, wow, you swear, like, cool, fuck yeah, yell at her. And he was like, sweetheart, don't do that again. And he's like, we had to start over again.
So she was doing her like.
She was fucking
America's Next Top Model.
goes right back out, and
Wrong
fucking
show.
Andrea tells her, walk the fucking pace. Everyone walk the same spot. Like Andrew's telling her, walk this fucking way. Fucking comes in again. They get down the line. Bitch hits a fucking spin, flexes and poses, and Dave was like. And we were like laughing. We're like, oh, this is going to be good. We're not starting today.
So now are they in Dave's ear being like?
They're
dude,
always
they're
in Dave's.
always in
They're
Dave's
always in
straight-
Dave's.
Oh, I know that.
Dave's
Yeah,
always
they're
like,
No, yeah,
Well,
they're,
they're straight
they're
is
always in.
brought
They're
out.
always in
Straight
Dave's.
is brought out.
Well, that was how like when I left, I was like, I know I wasn't talking to Chris or Oliver or Dave. I was like, I was
Of
talking to
course not.
microphones.
Of
Yeah,
course
and
not.
I was
Of
like,
course
oh, I don't have what it takes when you got backwards fucking tattoos done, 4 tattoos that aren't finished yet. And everything was fucked up, and there's a scar on that fucking one that's cut the fuck open.
It's like we know full
But,
well that's
oh,
not
yeah.
gonna go well.
Mine was a bad one, right? I'm like, okay, that was right. This is all fucking. Yeah.
The scary.
But so anyway, so the girl comes down again, hits his fucking little like spin, and he just goes, stop, fucking knock it off, stop it. He's like yelling at her now. He's like, and I'm like, oh, somebody's got to be somewhere today. He ain't trying to get held up. Fucking goes out, does it again. And they start yelling at her like, you're going to get kicked the fuck out of here. You either walk the fucking thing or go down the thing. Comes down, does the whole thing. And if anyone wants to walk back and look at this shit and waste your fucking time looking at it, there's a character on season 3 that doesn't end up getting tattooed because of they got caught saying that they were there to further their modeling and acting career. And that's why she was there.
Well, dude,
and never had any intention
of
getting tattooed.
Dude, the fact
I was like, well, if that's the fucking case, why did you let her fucking stay here? Why was she here to fucking, because you know she was never going to get tattooed and someone was going to have to leave. And they're like, hey man, that's how drama works. And I was like, so it's not tattooing.
But here's the thing with that. Like on our show, the majority of the people that were getting tattooed, they literally had it on their resumes that they were, fucking skins for fucking Best Ink. So these people were fucking Hollywood people that are using that as like a resume, title. But it was one of those things. I'm like, but you just sat around and got tattooed. Like that's not a resume thing. But again, Hollywood and New York are two totally different things. So for Hollywood, I think they looked at it.
Let me correct you real quick. Hold on. Newark, motherfucker. It wasn't New York. We're supposed to tell you it was New York. It was Newark.
Yeah, Newark.
It was the shittier part of Newark.
That wasn't a brown stone. That was a brown brick.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
with no AC.
That was a very brown brick. I remember the time
we were so shitty that like even the trucking yard was like, no, keep going on the further fucking.
Yeah, I remember going to visit you and being like, dude, what the fuck? This ain't New York. This is fucking Jersey, man. Yeah. This fucking blows.
Hey, season 7, me and Jimmy got it down. We had our interview day. Our interview day. They were like, "Hey, we got you and Jimmy a massage." We're like, "Okay, that's bad."
Well, no, they got everyone was supposed to get massages, but like we were fucking laughing so much and fucking joking around that we fucking fell behind with our interviews. And then they were like, "Well, we got you guys' fucking massages. Go get massages."
We had to have a couples massage.
So we had to go get the couples massage, and I'm fucking dying laughing. He's talking to this girl, and she don't speak no English. She's only speaking Portuguese.
He's the only one that knows Portuguese. I'm like,
and his Portuguese is just like, what do they say? What's a little bit of Portuguese?
This bitch broke out a rolling pin on my ass. I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm like. She's like,
as long as she keeps, I
thought she was gonna knock his ass out, and he's like, baby, make eye contact with me. He's like, tell her how much I have. I was like, I ain't seeing shit.
Can I get some eye contact? I was like, damn, you gonna work my ass out with a rolling pin? Give me some eye contact. God damn it.
No, what'd you tell her? She said, roll over so I can do your chest. You said, you don't want me to roll over right now? I was like, don't roll over.
Oh my fuck. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. But
that motherfuckers lubed our ass up. We couldn't even walk on the floor.
Oh dude. They wanted us out of there so fucking bad. I was like we were dying laughing the whole fucking time. And it was like to the point where they were massaging us like this.
Did they even use any of this footage?
Oh no.
So why did they even have you go through it?
Because we were doing our interview. That was interview day.
Yeah. It was just fucking.
That was giving us a little. They were throwing us a bone.
Yeah,
dude.
Or we could go to the gym or go get a massage.
Dude, it's the dumbest shit, man. None of this stuff makes any fucking sense.
Anyway, past all that other shit,
it's so fun.
I don't want to talk. Yeah,
good memories.
No, there's some funny shit.
So, are we even gonna bother to talk about fucking Tat Hoown, or because it doesn't make sense? The only reason I say it is because not for nothing, dude. You took up a good chunk of time, and we haven't even gotten through to.
We haven't even got through your apprenticeship or your tattoo career yet.
Fuck, I don't give a fuck.
So back in Ohio, staying skin. Okay,
we got it. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So you got it.
I do cool tats. I fucking love to fucking benefit this business. I'm all about fucking striving to fucking better everybody in this business. And that's what the best part about the hoedown is. The hoedown's going to be hoedown. It's going to be in Lenore, North Carolina. It's going to be fucking awesome. Chris is going to be a great host, and I think it's. I know you guys did it in Dayton here, and I heard it was an amazing turnout.
Yeah, that was best.
And for the business, it's fucking tremendous. To be able to give back, and I never will say I'm fucking anything but fucking a contributor to a fucking better business. I don't fucking blow myself up. I don't give a fuck. I just love doing what I do as a tattooer, and to be an old school tattooer that actually sticks to my roots and sticks to my everything. All of the things that I learned as a early tattooer. I still try to fucking empower other artists to fucking just keep going, because it's like, when we let the old school and the old times go, this business is gonna fucking crumble. And I think the structure, the hoedown is a good tool to benefit artists that are actually trying to fucking keep the dream alive. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And I love it. And I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Well, so I'm going to bring this back to Ink Master because I can't help myself.
Oh my god!
And it's relevant. Well, the fact of the matter is, and the reason why it's relevant is because of everything you just fucking said. Is the fact that you come from an older school of mentality, an older school of thought.
And that's what I thought I was doing at that time.
And that's my fucking point. That's why I want to bring this up. And the fact of the matter is, you both, myself included, you have not done this, but
Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy talked me out.
I talked him out of it.
When they talked to me about it, I was like, what do you think? He's like,
I was like, don't. I was like, you're going to get arrested. You'll be the first one to kill someone on that show.
But the funny thing about that is the mentality of, I don't want to say generation, the mentality of our school of thought is the betterment of the business, the betterment of tattooing.
I mean, that's what I thought I was going on there for.
That's what me too.
I looked at it like it was a prolonged fucking convention.
And that's
to where I thought it was going to be about artwork and learning and just being that shit. And then when I got there, when I was in Vegas, I filmed other shows before. I was on one of the first tattoo reality shows, and that's what I thought it was. It was just, all right, well, you guys do what the fuck you do, and we're just going to have cameras around you. Nope.
Well, and which is why I want to bring this up, because you do have, there's hundreds of tattooers, probably thousands, that look at us taking part in the tattoo reality world.
Dude, there's thousands of Ink Master alumni now.
No, I get that. I get that.
For every season, there's between 12 to 17 people per season.
Whether you're busted or not.
Yeah, whether you're good or not, there's 12 to 17 fucking artists that go on the show, and they're on season 15.
And
you're like, add that shit up.
And
that's a lot of fucking artists.
That's my point, because the fact of the matter is, I think the people that were on the first handful of seasons, I would say 70% of those people were probably in a similar boat and frame of mind that you guys were, that you thought this was going to do something good for the business, that you were doing something that made sense for
we thought we were
the
going to
trade.
make a difference.
So I don't want to say make a difference.
We did, just not the direction we wanted.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, but again, I looked at it.
But we did, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always looked at it from the standpoint of like, it's either me or somebody else. And for me personally, I knew the other person that they were considering was a douchebag. Right. And I'm like, I'd rather it be me than him. And maybe that's me being fucking selfish, but it wasn't. I'm you know me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think it was a different time too back then. Like, it's not like now where people everywhere have tattoos. Like, when Ink Master first came out, there was nothing really like it.
Right.
That was pushing it that mainstream and that forward. And the idea of being able to take tattooing. Yeah,
well, there was definitely no format in that way.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't meant to be.
And then
I thought it was going to be a competition like that.
Granted, I'm in the generation where I knew all of you guys from the early, I have no idea who's on the fucking show now, but
No, I don't.
And they were all. It is all dudes who were trying to do something for tattooing instead of thinking that Ink Master was going to do something for them.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing now.
Well, nowadays, it's only people are only looking at it like no. If I get on the show, new career.
And here's the thing,
bundles.
to be honest, from an outsider looking in, because I didn't do the show, I do see a lot of guys that it destroys their career.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't think it destroys their career. I think it doesn't ever help it, which leads you to the next question.
Well, it helped me.
Did you? No. But my point being, it leads
People knew
you
my
to
name.
the next question for those individuals. Did you ever have a career?
No, that's true too.
And that's a legitimate thought.
But the best thing about what that scenario was that even like as the perception of the general public, like I did Milan, or I did Florence, and so like between Milan and Florence, you know, it was a whole year, and that was when, you know, like tattoo shows were like being shown in Europe. So like it was like, so like I had like from like the first time there was like old ladies going down the street and they see the tattoo guys going down the road and they like cross the street. They're like they're like avoiding the tattoo people. And like when I went to Florence, I literally had 70-year-old grandmas coming up to me and like, oh, I love, you know, like fucking like schoolgirls taking pictures, like, oh, yeah. I saw you on the TV, blah blah blah. I'm like, really? In Italy?
Yeah,
like,
dude, Europe.
I was like, this is awesome. I'm taking pictures with grannies. And I'm like, hey girl,
You
what's
just-
up?
I do think a handful of dudes
so
think
it's
that was
like,
really great for their
so I
career,
change you change the perspective of a generation
Yeah,
in
yeah, I
another
agree.
country that like, because they're set in their fucking minds.
Yes,
but like when they see us and like embrace a tattooed person rather than fearing them, so it changes the perspective of a whole generation of people.
Yeah, well, I
was awesome
agree with
to me.
that. I mean,
It freaked my mind out.
I do think that it was one of the first things that kind of showed people that what the personality of somebody is that's a tattooer. I mean, I use Victor as an example. You know, you talk about a dude who's Chinese who thought anybody covered in tattoos or had tattoos was a criminal.
True.
And now look at his life. He's literally surrounded by tattooers all day long. And he thinks they're the best people. But without stuff like that, like people in Italy, like what did they know about it? You know,
Yeah,
you were just before you were just some hood dude covered in tattoos. Now
Thought they were
they
gonna get
know
robbed.
something but they know something about you. You know,
Right.
they get to see your personality. They know something about you and who you are as a person. So.
Yeah. So I mean that's another aspect of the whole what I thought, you know, as being on the show would change, and that was a positive part of what had changed.
I wish the reason why I went back to this is I wish that the majority of the people that are jumping into it now had the same conscious thoughts and mentality of why they were getting into it, not because it's a selfish way.
I wish that
it's
whoever
not
produced
selfish.
it had the same intentions.
Okay, but we know that that's Hollywood and that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
The idea though is, and again, I know this is never going to happen. This is wishful thinking. This is straight up. It doesn't exist. But individuals looked at it from the perspective of, this isn't really helping out the trade. This isn't helping out us. This isn't. And again, I said this to you many, many years ago when you went back for the 9th time. And I said to you, I go, dude, fuck them, make them pay you. And you said, they're not going to do that. And I'm like, dude, the fact of the matter is you're not a fucking contestant. You're a fucking actor. It's the same thing that I feel with Instagram, TikTok, all that bullshit.
We're just pawns.
Exactly. The fact of the matter is you are creating content and entertainment for the masses, and we are not gaining anything from that. If we post reels of our tattoos, dopey motherfuckers dancing in front of a screen or tit shots before they fucking show off the tattoo, whatever it is not for us, it is for them. And the only person benefiting from this, and this is going to sound fucking insane, not insane, but it's going to make sense, It's the corporations that run these fucking these.
How is that not in every industry though?
No, that's my point.
Corporations always
that's
come
my
out
point.
on top.
But we saw this firsthand.
Yeah.
We saw this happening before it became like general or common knowledge. And that's the shame of it, is the fact that we've not had any way of putting any control of our destination, our destiny, where we're going to end up. You know what I mean? Other people are making money off the backs of us and us making asses out of ourselves, and we hope to catch nickels and pennies while they're taking dollars and fucking
Shame, you got nickels and pennies.
Yeah, but the people sitting here, we're the next old timers, and
We are the old timers.
well,
dude, we're getting there. Yeah.
I mean, there's not many. There's not a lot that
Not a lot.
30 plus years into this
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
and those are dying off quick, which is terrible, and so we have to be the positive that goes on with it, and try to do everything. And hey, the hoedowns want to be the positive.
Yeah.
So
we can all fucking benefit from that. We
With
can
you
bring
having
the
said
old
that-
timers into it.
with you having said that, we're going to do this real quick, and then we're going to try to end on a positive note. So basically,
Oldpeople.com. This is a Geritol commercial.
No, I've got diabetes.
The Beatles.
I'm falling and I can't tattoo.
So we did plan on going a little bit further, and not for nothing. I'm upset with myself for the fact that I didn't think we should just do this on you.
I don't give a fuck.
But we had the four of us together, and I thought we could do everything.
It has nothing to
But
do
the
with
fact
me,
of the
bro.
matter is-
I just love being involved because this is y'all are my friends, and this is this is part of being a positive in the industry, and anything that I can do to help it has nothing to do. I ain't trying to fucking get fucking famous for nothing. I just love fucking helping.
You've already gone down that road.
Yeah.
So just so everybody knows,
Love y'all.
we are doing the Tat Hoown. It's going to be held in Lenore, North Carolina.
My neck of the woods. I might say some shit there too, but who knows?
Yeah, so we are hoping. So basically, if nobody knows, there are going to be a handful of presenters. It is a free event. It is going to be held on the 29th and 30th of March. It is the last Sunday and Monday in March. If you get there a day early, which is going to be that Saturday, the 28th, Chris Hollyfeld, who owns the venue in which we are doing this event in, is having a little party after 6 o'clock. You are more than welcome to attend. But the Tat Hoown happens on the Sunday and Monday, the last Sunday and Monday of the month of March. We have a handful of presenters. James is one of them. This event is hosted by Jonathan, Jime, and myself. The first ever happened in this basement where we're sitting right now in Dayton, Ohio, which will happen again at the end of August.
Technically, the second hoedown is here.
Hold down.
The third hoedown.
It will be the third one, but because I think we're cut short on fucking the hoedown for Chris's thing.
No, because I don't know
it's not the fullest thing. I would have liked to have done the 3-day thing like we did, but because of how it was held out.
It is hard to say. And not for nothing, if you guys have if anybody out there who knows about the hoedown and was at the first hoedown thinks a 2-day event over a 3-day event is better or worse, leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Because that's not something we've really touched with regular people.
Yeah, I really thought.
I mean, dude,
that.
realistically, we've had this plan. Fuck, I've been talking. What? Again,
15
years I've been talking about this shit. And when we all got together, like, look, we're gonna do this shit. We always talk about it. Everywhere we go, every convention, every fucking time we're at each other's places or something, we fucking keep talking about it. And we're like, dude, now is more than any time than ever. Like, let's do it. And we literally just did this shit by the fucking, just on the fly.
But I think it needs to be said. I think it needs to be said. While you said we've been talking about it forever, or you've been talking about it forever, whatever, it was Jonathan who decided to actually redo his basement, or finish his basement, and say, "Yo, man, I got a place for us to fucking do this. Are we gonna do this?
Yeah, once I had this spot, I knew
proud,
we can finally do it.
Because this is the thing with the hoedown. We're not making money off of this. This is something we're doing.
Just to give back.
Don't say give back. Give back sounds so fucking gay. I don't want. It's not giving back.
That's not broke back.
It's just us being tattooers. It's us being people. Like when you invite a couple of people to your shop to do a guest spot, or 4 tattooers end up in your shop at a guest spot, and you go to dinner. That's not giving back.
No, but that's not.
You're just being
what we did.
tattooers.
We had a room full of young, hungry tattooers who couldn't get the knowledge anywhere else. That's giving back,
which
man.
is true. It's just true.
You know?
I don't know. It just seems.
I watched
so just word it
30 people surround Eric in a corner trying to learn how to make needles. They're never going to need to make. And decide to do it.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
Because they can't get that information anywhere else.
Agreed.
But we'll find a cooler thing to give back. It does so.
Yeah, give back sounds. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. I'm just saying. Do you guys want to touch on anything else, or are we good with this, or? Jimmy's gonna say something.
Something. Imagine that.
No, I think if you want to go down the list of presenters that we have going into the thing, so we can.
So at the moment, the way
the times that
yeah. So at the moment, like I said, so on Saturday the 28th is going to be Chris Holyfeld's kind of like tattoo party, which is going to happen after 6 o'clock in the evening. The hoedown itself.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is that a distillery party?
With the distillery. The hoedown itself takes place on Sunday and Monday. That is the 29th and 30th of March. That will happen from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Doors will open at 12.
Yeah.
The first presentation will go on at 1.
Yeah, give or take. At the moment, we have Eric Inkland coming in from Texas / Wisconsin. We have Rue from Ruthless Irons coming in from Texas, doing a presentation on coil machines and transitioning into rotary machines. He is also going to touch on the corporatization of tattooing that is going on right now in our business. We also have Dennis McPhail and Matt Grasso. Matt's coming in from Virginia, yeah?
Yeah.
And Dennis is coming in from Wichita, Kansas. These 2 guys are amazing lowbrow artists. They work primarily in one-shot and that's enamel paint, but it's all hot rod themed stuff for the most part, and phenomenal like technicians and artists. We also have an individual coming in from Jersey. It is the tattoo shop assistant. They're actually basically doing a presentation on their platform for helping run a tattoo shop. We also have, God, there's a lot. God, who am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting a bunch of shit. But all 3 of us are going to be there speaking on this stuff as well.
We got Scotty Whitaker.
Scotty Whitaker, thank you very much, from Family Traditions.
Talking
Supplies.
about pigment,
He's
supplies.
coming in on tattoo pigment, powdered pigments, how to mix, why we did the things we do, the changes that are happening in our business right now that are pretty much affecting all of us, even though you didn't fucking know about it. That's going to be a big, honestly, I think that's going to be a chunk of this particular hoedown, is the fact that we're going to be talking about, and again, this goes back to the corporatization of this business, but it's going to be talking about a lot of the regulations that we're going to be kind of shoved down our throats. And I think just that alone is a reason for people to come in and know what's going on. Paul Kirk is going to be doing a presentation on traditional tattooing and talking about, I think he's going to be walking people through a traditional tattoo. And then James Vaughn here.
I want to do one on composition and large-scale Japanese tattooing, or large-scale tattooing in general that covers the body, and using the body panels, using body muscle structure to actually benefit your design. So I think that should be really cool. People always wonder why, how I get everything to work so fast and so well with the body. So I hope I can give an insight to making people's thought process a little bit better, on design aspects of things. More figure, less background.
Kevin, we also had the tattoo museum.
Yes. So what's his last name? Kevin.
Brandenburg. Yeah, that's along with
Okay, so we have a cat coming down from Kentucky who has a tattoo museum. Kevin is coming down from Kentucky with his tattoo museum. The fact of the matter is there's a lot going on. If you would like, inside the description of this particular video, I am going to have our Facebook invite page or events page. We will have the Tat Hoown Instagram page. So everything is kind of in there. So that's kind of about it.
Buck,
you know what I mean? It is a free event.
I do want to add in there a little bit. We have some people also attending. We asked a lot more of older tattooers, been tattooing longer than us, to attend.
Yeah.
We are going to do like a speaking panel towards the end of the night. We don't quite have 100% verification of everyone who's going to show up, but they will be coming out.
That's old people shit.
And what happens, so we don't want to.
Well, I think the one thing that needs to be said is the fact that because like Not for Nothing, the podcast is going to be there. We usually do a broadcast from the event itself, and we try to include everybody for questions and answers and stuff like that. But I think what needs to be most stated is the fact that a lot of the people we invite, when we make it known that this is a free event and the only way they're going to make money is by selling merchandise and stuff like that, it does turn a lot of people off. So while we invite a lot of people and hope they show up, we get what we get. And you guys benefit from that, basically. So this is something, while I don't want to use the word giving back, this is something we're shooting from the hip on. And the first one that we did here in Dayton in August, was tremendous. We were all taken aback by the people who came out to present and by the people who came out to actually hang out, watch. We bring a bunch of art supplies. We ask people to create flash, take part in group, collaborations and drawings and stuff like that. And all that happened. This one, I think, in North Carolina is going to be much bigger than what happened here because it is the second one and there's a bit of more of a buzz about it.
Yeah.
And having said that, we will be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Hoedown back here in Dayton at the end of August. Dates to be announced.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it there.
That's pretty much
Anything
it.
you got coming up that you want to tell everybody? You got any shows coming up or guest spots?
We're all going to be in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Yeah. This will not be out by then.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we all go to Pittsburgh immediately after this, and
Tomorrow
then
morning.
Then
Jonathan
I got Chicago the next weekend.
You're doing. It might be out for that. So you're doing Chicago the third weekend of March.
Yes.
And then you guys are doing a pop-up
event.
We're doing a pop-up event at Harley Davidson here.
Yeah.
Buckeye Harley. And then we got the Hoedown.
And then the Hoedown did, yeah.
You got anything else going up to the next? I'm doing Winnipeg. I think Red Deer and some shows in Canada I got coming up.
My recommendation is everybody's information will be in the description of this video. Check it out. And do us a favor and support. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for wasting your time.
Again, like and subscribe. I apologize for all the fucking mistakes and nightmare and bullshit that has happened in this episode. The fact of the matter, it's been 2 years. It's probably not going to change if you guys are willing to put up with it. Again, like and subscribe. Spread the word. Thank you very much. And see you when I see you.
Cheers.